Yo, what up? It's Benjamin D'Souza here, back with another classic. And something that's on my mind. I was in the middle of listening to a broadcast that Jason Black, TBA, put out on the business, how to make a woman admire you. Something to that effect. I might go ahead and put it in the first pinned comment, who knows. But he was saying something about, two things that can make a woman admire you. One is proximity, her being close to a man of means and abilities. And the next is presentation, i.e., buying her things or demonstrating to her that you are a man who has means and who is willing to share those means. And that kind of, and this is my first time listening to this broadcast, and it kind of brought me back to a conversation that I had on Sister George's and Concrete Rose's panel the other day, when I brought forth the scenario or the vetting technique of taking a chick to an expensive restaurant. Now, this is an actual technique that I use. I didn't just come up with that on the fly. I've been doing this for some years now while dating and whatnot. And I speak about this in one of my older classics that I put out called Vetting Techniques, Predator Style, something like that. I might pin that in the first pin comment too. It's an old video, about a couple of years old or whatever. But in that, well, I'm not gonna get into what I talk about on there. I'm gonna keep it to the subject. And I was kind of, while I was listening to this podcast, I was kind of going back and replaying some of the conversations that I had on Danielle George's and Concrete Rose's panel. And Edward Anderson, just to go back to this guy, he said something and he said, Benjamin, you're personalizing it. And at the time when he said it, I didn't understand what he means that I'm personalizing it. What are you talking about? Like, I really didn't understand what he was getting at. And then it came to me. I said, oh, I get it. I get why I didn't understand him when he said, oh, I don't agree with that because you're personalizing it. You know why I didn't understand it at the time? It's because I don't speak Brokaanese. You know what I'm saying? If you feel a way that you are incapable or unwilling to take a woman whom you're courting to an expensive restaurant, I get that. But if you can't do it, hey, just fall back, Men do what they want, boys do what they can. But you up here sounding like goddamn Hulk Hogan at Struggle-Mania 19. Let me tell you something, brother. I'm not gonna spend that type of money on a date with a female because I can't, brother. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is you talking about, man? What Trina say back in the day? If you ain't talking money, you speaking French to me. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Au revoir, motherfucker. I holla. But yeah, man. But just to give a brief recap about that conversation on that expensive restaurant, $100 plate scenario. I was trying to lace Danielle and them on the game that if she does run afoul on that type of in that type of scenario by picking over $100 plate and really fucking off the man's money and his time, on how she can redeem herself by buying a steak and then inviting them over and cooking them a steak dinner. Because that gesture right there, not only, all right, that gesture right there shows that the woman at least thinks about somebody else outside of herself. If you could sit back and self-reflect and just replay the date in your mind and say, you know what, that was kind of, that was kind of whack of me to kind of just fuck over his money like that. Let me make it up to him, because I wouldn't want a man whom I took out to a date do the same thing to me. So let me make it up to him. If that type of introspection, if you will, that type of self-reflection is present in the female, man, that is paramount, because that right there lets me know that she has the ability that if we're in a serious relationship, whether seriously, long-term, LTR or a marriage or whatever, that lets me know that she's gonna do for the unit and not just look out for her self-interest all the time. Because we all know that the number one issue with a lot of these domestic B-dubs, as it is today, is their solipsism. They cannot see anything outside of themselves. They think the sun rises and sets on their ass and that the universe revolves around them. So to see that type of self-awareness in a woman is a major key. But that's all I got. Get up on that.